this second segment, we're going to try to orient you to where Approach Operating, the Texas-based oil company, has built their first drilling location on the Saltemeyer Ranch. Approach is the company that leased 90,000 acres in the Chama Tierra Maria watershed, and we'll have Beth and Ron Saltemeyer talking a little about some of the problems they've had in the first well site and then those continuing problems as they look at the next well site that Approach is staked out.
This probably would have been the last place we would have let them do something, you know, if I would have known they were doing this.
Yeah.
Well, we were about right where it's cleared was where we had some cedar trees, and we used to bring picnic tables in, and the family knew to meet if we were all over the ranch. This is where we came, in this box canyon, and we liked it because it was protected and had, the biggest thing my dad liked is it was one of the few places on the ranch that had about every type of tree. You know, the cedar, the spruce, the juniper, the pine, the aspen, the scrub oak.
To get a good look up canyon where the last of the aspen trees that they didn't wipe out, and they hauled in all this river rock, and there's their reserve pit, and as it goes, and they made that cut and the drainage cut up above where the reserve pit is, and that just continues across. What I'm confused about is, see, on a BLM location, they wouldn't allow you to put rock anywhere outside the area that's going to be left, which is just in production, which is just a very small area.
Right.
And they use the rock to stop the erosion right around the pits. This is what always gets me is, this is what we had as a existing surface.
And it was actually greener and grassier than that a little bit.
Yeah.
The meadow was, you know.
Yeah. Well, you got just a healthy subalpine mixture. You got scrub oak and the junipers and a good grass cover in here. Yeah. My wife's better on the weeds, but I don't see much. We're not too high for sagebrush. We've got a little chamisa. And this erosion, Ron, step over there so we can get us, just like with your foot in it or something, so we can get a scale of how big it is.
To show you how deep that is, right there, you're almost up to my knee already, and that's less than one season.
Yes, that's the point, yes. Magnifies as you go over towards Beth, and then and here we go again, and we've looked at all the surrounding area of this existing well location, and we don't have any signs of erosion. The landscape here was holding and had been forever, and then obviously with these, what we would call the queue, meaning the lineup of the landscape to catch the water, to send it. When you have those rock surfaces like you guys have got back here, then you're shedding an awful lot of water down in here. That's the queue. We could calculate how much water was going to come into this little particular drainage. Now, instead of catching that water with the existing vegetation and so forth, slowing it down and keeping it, we're gonna start shedding a lot of it and wind up getting what we've got here. But anyway, that was interesting that we found this water here.
Beth was saying when they drilled that little water well there, you have a little place sticking up that says we drilled a well here, and that's all you see. And I guess that's what we were kind of expecting, that they'd come in and drill a test well, and if they didn't hit anything, there'd be not a lot of evidence of it happening. We had no idea. We just didn't check into it enough, Don, and figure out what might happen.
That's more or less the topography and what we had, and now this is what you got. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got you. Well, it is a brutal business to cut this stuff apart, and in our part of the country where we have, even though you have a beautiful landscape here, it's still what's called brittle. Mm-hmm. Most of the country west of the Mississippi River is. And In a brittle landscape, you get less than 30 inches of rain a year, or moisture a year, and you also get the rain at a little bit of unpredictable times. So your ground can't really heal itself, grow enough microbes, and make that cyclical process go around and around that your ground would heal like it does more back where Ron lives in New York and like that.
Well, like we said, this will never be back in our lifetime the way it was, you know, for us.
Man.
Well, and I told him after this happened how upset and disappointed we were, and I said, you know, we don't want it. I never drive this way, so I can see the road here. I said, I don't want anything done without going through every inch of it, of what it is, and even meeting you up here and seeing it. Well, since then, they've come in somehow, staked another one out.
Oh,
he just
man.
left me a phone message, you know.
What we say is the stake in the ground is like the stake in the heart, because in general, the oil company or the pipeline company would say, hey, we're just sending our engineers out and surveyors to take a look and see where it is. We're going to put a few stakes in the ground, kind of get an idea where it is, and then we can work with you from there on. We'll decide what it's going to be. And I will tell you that over the 26 wells that we have personally done, and then done on our place, and a lot more that around our neighbor's place, is that once that stake goes in the ground, it's almost impossible to get it back out. This well location, you'll be able to have this view. Man, oh man.
And on the first one, of course, they did it in the wrong spot. They said it was going to be between the road and the big cliffs, where is a little narrow strip that we don't use that much, which was agreeable. They went across the hill into the canyon. Then they called and said they were going to do it north of the one they did first, which to me, I envisioned up that other box canyon that the roads cut off, and then ended up over here.
Oil and gas drilling impacts of construction are obvious, as we've seen here. But what Beth and Ron see now is actually the least impact that they will ever have once the drilling impact starts. With the traffic, the well equipment, the creation of waste fluids, a successful well will have an estimated 30-year life. But already, the landscape of the Chama Tierra Maria watershed has been altered forever.